Chapter 1348. In the northeast corner of Millerton stood a towering cathedral. The cathedral had typical Gothic architecture with several tall, pointed spires, and the majority of the building was black, which gave it a solemn appearance. In the basement of the cathedral, roughly 80 people were lying down, letting out painful screams. They were dressed in the robes of the Church of the Fire Dragon Lord, which included ordinary believers, devout followers, and a member of the militia. Their bodies were covered in wounds, all of which were puncture wounds, with horrifying and bloody injuries. At that moment, a hunched figure appeared in the basement, completely shrouded in a black robe. He removed his hood, revealing an old face that resembled a dried orange peel. He looked at the people on the ground with eyes that were glowing red. That militia who was still alive angrily shouted when he saw the old man, "The Church of the Fire Dragon Lord will not let you off." Hehe! The old man let out a cackling laugh. "You fools! The Church of the Fire Dragon Lord is nothing but a joke. Even the Church of the Holy Illuminati is child's play in our eyes. What could the Church of the Fire Dragon Lord possibly amount to?" As the old man said that, he slowly walked toward that man. The man clenched his teeth and said, "You incite the public and slaughter non-believers. You're an evil cult, and the enemy of all religion. Is that so? What of it? All worlds are just food for the Great Will. When the Great Will descends, nothing will remain. So, there's no point in you saying any of that." The old man reached the militia and pointed out a finger. His finger started to elongate, turning into a suction device. A terrifying mouth started to form at the tip as well. The warrior looked at the terrifying suction device with a hint of panic and fear in his eyes, but he still said, "You'll definitely be cleansed by the Church of the Fire Dragon Lord." "Is that so? Then you might be disappointed." The old man smiled, pointing the suction device on the militia's head. The mouthpiece stuck to his skull, and a bone spur extended from it, instantly piercing through the militia's skull. The militia let out a roar. "The Lord of the Fire Dragons is with us." The other believers cried out at the sight, "The Lord of the Fire Dragons is with us." The old man laughed as he injected some liquid into the man's brain, and the man cried in agony. Not long after, his body stopped struggling and lay motionless on the ground. The old man then repeated the same process with the remaining people in the basement, and the cries and miserable screams continued. At that moment, Wilbur heard a roar in his soul. The power of faith seemed to be fluctuating. Wilbur heard the shouts of his believers and quickly locked into a specific location. He immediately stood up and jumped out of the window. In the night sky, he rushed to the northeast corner of Millerton. At the same time, Sandy and Lillian arrived at the prayer hall of Pumido. The two of them kneeled in front of a statue and started praying devoutly. The statue was 10 meters tall, with a blurred face and 10 arms. There was a deep mark on its forehead that resembled a third eye, or a deep vortex. After they prayed for a moment, an old man in a black robe walked out from behind, quietly standing next to the statue. At that moment, the door to the prayer room was kicked open with a bang, and Wilbur walked in with large steps.